Man, we really got Combiner Wars 2 before Elder Scrolls 6, didn't we? Hello there, Transformers fans, and welcome back to another cool toy review. And today we are reviewing the newest releases of the Aerial Bots, the Age of the Primes Aerial Bots, but this time they are actually directly inspired by the G1 cartoon. And they look absolutely incredible. I got to see these bad boys alongside Silverbolt at Toy Fair, and they do not disappoint. And it's also really nice to have seen these guys really well stocked in retail lately. If you haven't been checking your Walmarts and Targets, shelves have been getting the new Slingshot, Air Raid, as well as the other characters available in the Age of the Primes line Wave 1 so far. Here they are in the packaging, and as you can see, they have that nice bubble window as well as artwork of not only their robot modes, but their jet mode. You get artwork of Superion on the side, and on this side, you get the 13 Primes, well, the statues of the 13 Primes. And on the back, you get to see them in their robot modes and their jet modes, but not their combined modes, because, well, we're going to see that later. Anyway, that's pretty much it for the packaging. Here are our first two aerial bots right out of the packaging, and they look absolutely fantastic side by side. Don't get me wrong, I loved the Combiner Wars releases of these guys, even though Slingshot was initially replaced at first by Alpha Bravo. But these versions, in my opinion, are much more G1 accurate than the Combiner Wars ones were. But that said, the Combiner Wars release of the aerial bots is accurate to other Transformers universes and sources, such as the IDW comic book universe and the Transformers Devastation video game. But those other versions aside, here are these versions, and we're going to start off as Slingshot. Like I mentioned earlier, he was replaced during Combiner Wars by the helicopter Alpha Bravo, who is an aerial bot from the IDW comic book series, and later on this guy got released as a slight retool and repaint of the then Fireflight figure, so we had that Slingshot respectively. And this version is definitely better than the Combiner Wars version, because this one looks like it was originally molded with Slingshot in mind from the beginning. Now, you'll notice these square tabs here. This is because Slingshot's going to be one of the arms of Superion, so much like that Legacy Menasor, where you just plug the car, in this case it's going to be the jet, onto that arm section and then you ratchet it out, that's where the arm's going to split into the two separate sections, because once again, this is based on the Generation 1 cartoon, where Slingshot was a bisected jet on the arm of Superion, not necessarily the entire arm of Superion. But with that detail in mind, this was kind of a missed opportunity on Hasbro's part to give us one more really cool accessory with Slingshot in particular. And of course, I'm talking about the faux chest, the replacement chest, the grill from the Royal Prince's car from that one episode where he and, I don't think it was Fireflight, I think it was actually Skydive that was trapped with him in that episode. They were partially disassembled, and when his chest was missing, this prince took the grill off of this classic looking car for his replacement chest piece, so he had this golden grill chest piece for a little while, and I feel like it would be really easy to make a plug-on version of that with these pegs right here. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. Slingshot here is fully articulated, head is on a ball joint, fully articulated shoulders in and out, upper bicep, double jointed elbows, nothing at the wrist because the hands, and I like how they molded the outside of the fist for this little bit right here, and then part of the front of the fist for those finger details, despite, having to cover up the rest of the hands with the plane here, and you'll see why when we get to transformation. So because of that, there is no wrist articulation, but he can hold both of his blaster pistols or other pretty much standard sized Transformers accessories. He also has waist articulation, hips, upper thigh, single jointed knees, side ankle joints. You also have this foot hinge, mostly due to transformation. The heel articulates the same way, again, due to transformation. And if you want to have those wings facing forward, maybe you want those Autobot logos on the outside, well, you can display him that way as well if you like. And now for Air Raid. Air Raid also looks fantastic. I always loved how Air Raid's front of his jet mode scrunched onto his back. I mean, you could say that about all the aerial bots. They really all do it. Um, but Air Raid, in my opinion, just did it a little bit more. We've got more of a two-step kind of accordion down versus just the one over there. And then the wings fold in to kind of secure it all into place. And to me, I think it just looks really, really cool. I also like how they made the tail fins on this one just pegs so that you can rotate them up this way when you have him in his robot mode. Feel like that makes for a very cool look too. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. Air Raid here is also fully articulated. Head is on a ball joint, fully articulated shoulders, in and out, upper bicep, single jointed elbow, and you do get a wrist kind of joint there. It can go in and out of the forearm due to transformation. And he also comes with dual blaster pistols, except his are a little bit different. So I also like that we already have a variety with their blaster pistols, as well as a decent variety between the two molds and designs. Waist, hips, upper thigh, single jointed knees, ankle joints. The foot does not collapse forward, nor does the heel collapse forward, because this guy, his leg transformation is totally different from Slingshot's. All right, let's start by transforming Slingshot here. We're going to take his blasters out of his hands first. There we go. Those were really good in there. Then we're going to rotate those elbows around and then close those elbows down on those forearms like so. We're also just going to rotate that head around. And if you want, go ahead and flip down that landing gear because it's just on the back of his head. Next, we're going to bring that up and extend it. And you're going to see that little peg hole and that peg right there. These are going to extend up on those double hinge joints. And then you're just going to tuck that arm section into the side like so, and then just push this down. That's going to peg into the front part of those shoulders right there. That head is just going to stay tucked under the nose, and then there's that front landing gear that I mentioned earlier. For the wings, open those up to the side, open those legs up, and then we're just going to bring those legs down on those double hinge joints, slide those rails together in the middle in between those legs so they are secure. And then we're just going to flip out the feet, plug that together, flip up that central fin, make sure that's all nice and tabbed together in the middle. And there he is in his jet mode. And then you can also, I like to put him down here on the underside of the wings. It's just my favorite place for Transformer jet mode blasters or other weaponry. And there he is. Next, we'll go ahead and convert Air Raid into his jet mode. He is also very simple, just like Slingshot was. What we're going to do is we're going to remove his blaster pistols from his hands, fold in those hands, straighten those arms out, and I do mean straighten them out. Get those nice and straight like so. Flip the head around. We aren't really going to be tucking it into anything. Straighten out those feet, straighten out those legs, peg them together right in the center, and then you are going to untab the front of the legs, and those are going to tab right there into the thighs. Come around over here to the side. We're going to bring up those shoulders and then tab those elbows into those pegs on the sides there. Flip that around, fold out those wings, fold down that nose, untab this back section, and then just bring it up, push it down into place like so. And then Just untab and bring this rear section up and just slide it into place. Flip out those side fins, flip around those upper fins, and then we'll go ahead and put his pistols in the same place, just on the other underside of the wing, like we did with Slingshot. And there is Air Raid in his fighter jet mode. And they both look really good in their fighter jet modes. They're both a decent jet size, I think. Not too small, not quite as large as like Starscream or one of the other Seekers, and they were just a little bit smaller than the Seekers in the cartoon, even though Air Raid is basically also an F-15 like the Seekers were. But I digress. While we're talking about really cool jets and heroic characters, you could make a really cool Leader 1 partial using Air Raid and Slingshot's head sculpt, in my opinion. Let me know your thoughts about that in the comments down below. Overall, these two little jets are great additions to the Autobot Air Force, and in my opinion, the best recreation of the G1 aerial bots by Hasbro so far. Let me know your thoughts about Slingshot and Air Raid in the comments down below, and make sure you check CoolToyReview.com daily for all kinds of cool toy news, reviews, and more. And make sure you like and subscribe so you don't miss out on more Age of the Prime aerial bot reviews as we build out the new Superion here on CoolToyReview.com. Don't forget to follow us on social media, and you can follow me at Triptychonus on Instagram and TikTok for more cool Transformer fan content, Roger content, and Star Wars fan content. And we'll see you guys later. We'll see you another time. Transform and roll out.